All right, so let's see. Well, it says we're streaming. Alrighty. I don't know. Do we have sound? Well, it says we're streaming. Yep, we got sound. Alright, let's take that off. So now we just gotta wait for a few people. We're a little bit late. So this one's gonna be strange, guys. I apologize. We are in test mode right now. And I don't think I have the new follower thing and whatnot properly turned on. Dashboard view channel, maybe here. We'll go here and we'll take a look so you guys can see me. Although I've got it pretty low because you guys are down here. But we are trying something new. Although I've got it pretty low because you guys are down here. I'll mute that. We're going to leave that up just in case. Copy. I know I'm looking over here, guys. I apologize. Let's try that. So we got a few of you coming in here. So we're going to try something a little different, and I'm not sure how this is going to work. I might have to move my webcam thingy here. Oops. Let's go here. So, hey Mr. Duffy, how's it going? Hopefully everyone's had their morning cafe. I know, the 40, that's kind of off by like a few years, eh? Today we're going to talk about just about anything. Lack of training, and my lack of training on getting this prepped properly. So, I don't even know that I can move this. Let's go to Studio. Will it let me go to Studio? That's the question. Studio mode. Nope, it doesn't want to let me go to Studio. Is it because I'm in stream already? What's this? Oh, we definitely don't want that. Well, I get the feeling it's because I'm in stream. Editor? Is that where we go to Studio mode? Okay, so transition edit. So if we go and put me up there, and then we'll do the transition. There we go. See, now we're up there. You should be able to go into the editor and move the webcam. Yes, I can. And so I figured that out. I thought I was able to do it from the live screen, but apparently not. And of course, I don't like the positioning of my webcam, and I'm looking for something where I can change it. Let's see if we can't put you guys up here. If I can get this thing to open. The only problem with this is if my steering wheel moves, you guys are going. So there you go. Hey, we're up to 12 people already. Awesome. So I can see the chat off to the side, but apparently it's not coming up on the stream. So that means dashboard. I don't know if it'll let me do anything. So let's see here. Where's the chat button here? I know you guys are saying, what the hell are you talking about? All right, let's go back to editor. We'll go to, how about is it this one? There we go. And we'll transition over to here so you guys can see what I'm doing. So this is not really trucking related, but you guys can go ahead and ask questions. We'll do kind of like a mini Q&A as I set this up, and you guys can let me know what you think of this way of doing it. As I know I should have had this set up earlier. So now if I go here, I don't know if you guys will see this or not. I know there's something here, chat box. There we go. And I believe show enable better TTV emotes, whatever. Yeah, enable. So that's showing up. But I thought there was some always show messages. There we go. That's what I want. Okay, so let's go back to, oh, don't I gotta save it? Is there a save? Yeah, save settings. Okay, so we'll go back to editor. Playing some Twitch later, just being to my bees. Okay. What town do I miss going to? I used to really like going to Laredo, and for the main reason that it was, for me, coming from Toronto or even the Montreal area, depending on where I started, it was a really nice set of miles to go down and then take a, because usually it took a day to a day and a half to get out of there, so I could go down, take a day, go buy groceries, because I'd usually get there, let's say, and you'd end up with half a day, and then the next day, it might be late afternoon or even the next morning before they dispatch you. So that gave me the next day to head out, go to Walmart, pick up some groceries, and get the truck cleaned up and whatnot. Because, you were looking 1,800 miles, I think it was, from Toronto. Montreal is quite a bit more. And then I could turn around and head back towards, usually they'd give me a load like to Indianapolis or whatever, and I could usually get to Indy before the end of the week, and then I'd have really good miles for the week. I do miss going out west also. That was always cool. Am I going to do Twitch later? Probably will. I want to try to get more going on Twitch and my gaming. There was something else I wanted to do here. Oh, I wanted to look for, see, that's the header, new donation, new follower. Where's that button? That button's there. So I don't have the chat. I know there's a chat one that I can put in here. Let's go to themes. You guys can see the themes here probably. I want to go to chat, newly added. No. First person role-playing adventure. No, I want to look for chat. Oh, I wanted to look for widget themes. That's it. So let's go chat. There's nothing in that. Okay. Alert box, event list, goals, donation ticker, chat box. There we go. So we're looking at the chat box. We're trying to get this set up so that it'd be more engaging and exciting for you guys to, tune in and see stuff. And at the same token, then I can also go over stuff on the desktop as far as news stories go. I know there was a comic one. I did kind of like the comic one. Let's do comic. The only thing is it didn't have a sound. There we go. Let's go install. Let's go the alert box. We'll do the goals donation thing also. Donation ticker, chat box, viewer count. Don't know what any of that is. Event list. Yeah, well, eventually we can add that afterwards. Let's just install that. Then we'll go back to editor. Duffy says Laredo would be nice in the winter to escape the Canadian cold. Yes, in the summertime not so much because of how hot it was. The humidity level was up there. Okay, so which one? The donation ticker we don't need right now. Okay, so we'll turn that one off. Although you guys aren't seeing it, so when I transition now you're going to see that the viewer count is up top. Donation goal. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Because we have not set a donation goal. Well, we can't exactly put that in front of my face, can we? So let's go the viewer count. We're going to move it to the bottom left. There we go. This stuff should probably go a little higher, right? Where's the chat box? Chat box is here, which is kind of... So now anyone that's watching this full screen will be able to see what's going on in the chat box. Hopefully this shows up. I'm not 100% convinced that it is showing up. No, because it's going away. So we move that over there like that. Actually, this donation goal put up in that top right hand corner. There we go. That'll eventually come up. Any other questions, guys? Oh, Anita is in Laredo right now. Only 86 degrees. Well, that's actually a nice, comfy temperature. Oh, by the way, I'm going to say that it's beautiful up here this weekend, and I apologize for last weekend. I was trying to work on this stuff, and I screwed it up, and I unplugged my second monitor to do something on the other computer, and then when I plugged it back in, it was a total mess. I couldn't get it to work, and then I couldn't get nothing to work. Okay, Duffy says the chat is showing up, but it's not staying up, though. I'm looking at the stream here, too. I'm going to hit that transition button. So you guys can comment what you think of this, if you like this, because I can turn off stuff when let's say I go to show you guys something on the screen. I can turn a bunch of stuff off and then transition it, which is nice. See, like if I turn off the header and then transition it, it disappears. Although I don't know why this is up here. Hide from, there we go. There we go. It's back. Well, this writing is white. It's kind of blasé. So let's move this header. Can we move the whole thing up and over a little bit? There we go. And we'll do it like that. There we go. Hey Adam, how's it going? Good morning. And also, I want to give a shout out to Eddie down in Laredo. Hey Eddie, how's it going? You may not watch the live, but you probably watch the replay. He always does. Usually makes a comment. So, hey Eddie, why is that not going off? I want it to get off there. There we go. Okay, so I don't know why that's not. We don't want the header webcam frame. Yeah, we'll leave like that for now. Unless you guys want to see a bigger picture of me, which I don't think you really need to. That's the display. And if I shut this off, let's put that on. And if I shut this off, then that shows up as the background. Oh, you can't see it. Hold on, I got to transition it. There we go. So I can always have that as my background. And that will allow me to then I can get stuff set up on the other one while you guys are just looking at this and blah, blah, blah. Also, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Yes, Duffy, that is correct. Happy Father's Day to everybody. Thanks for mentioning that. Bugs Moran, morning from Montana. Yes, sir, Bob. Nice weather out there, I'm betting. See, now the chat shows up. Oh, where's your favorite town to go to? Now, that stuff is only showing up now? Really? Now, will it stay up or will it disappear? So this stuff is showing up in the chat and then it's disappearing. So let's go back to dashboard. Unbelievable. I'm pretty sure chat box. Oh, because did we add to it? Was that the problem? Always turn on. There we go. Oops. Save settings. Settings saved. Let's go back to editor and transition it. We're going to go back to this and we're going to see if that chat box shows up. Actually, we need to. It would be nice if it showed up. There we go, transition. We'll shut that off. But the chat box is not coming up. Why is it not coming up? Here, if I click here, 300 frames, custom, shut down source when not visible, refresh browser, refresh cache of current page. Cafe au lait, yes sir. Okay, so that one showed up on time. Widget type, go to widget settings. Yeah, it was here. Well, maybe because I wasn't on the right widget settings. No, now it's showing always show messages. Let's go back to editor. See, the cafe au lait is there. Now, will it stay there? That's the question. Somebody else type something. Come on, type something. Do it. Do it. I know you want to. No, the cafe au lait disappeared. Okay, so that's an issue. I can't get that working. Wonderful. Lack of training. That's all this is about, man. I just did not have enough training. Janet, good morning. Ryan, good morning. Well, I think we already covered the favorite town part there, Ryan, at the beginning, which was Laredo. Duffy typed something. Hello Melt program. Nice. Bugs puts in something. You guys are hilarious. See, now that stuff is showing up, but it's not staying, and it's not far enough over. Chat box. Let's... I don't know why it doesn't want to show the whole thing. Transition. So why is it? Oh, that's because of my thingy. Let's there we go. So that's staying there. I had no experience, and they sent to call solo first trip. Oh, to Cali first trip. Yeah, that's not good, especially crossing the mountains and whatnot. Simon says, yes, sir. Bob, of course. Alrighty, Adam. And SG says, this industry is FD'd. Well, you know, and the thing is, all you have to do, we're going to try something here. This is now the other portion of it that I wanted to try. Let's go over here to... Well, we'll go to our page here. I'm going to bring this over. Now I want to see if this shows up here. Let's transition. Hold on. See, now this is where this becomes a problem, and I'm not too goddamn bright, am I? So I want to turn that off. Display captures on. So if we turn the chat box off, transition, and then we go down here. So now we can see our page. Why aren't over the road paid to sleep in the truck? You are. You guys got to get that mentality out of your head, okay? You new guys. This isn't a let's pay me every minute I'm away from home. Trucking is a lifestyle. Come on, guys. Wake up and smell the coffee. You're not paid to be out sleeping in the truck. When you take over the road, that is part of the job. If you are a city driver, a local driver, and you're home every night, and they send you out somewhere that's going to be overnight, that's a different story. Why? Because you're not prepared. It's not your normal thing. 9 times out of 10, what they do is they pay for the hotel and your meals. They don't pay you hourly to stay overnight. Okay? They are providing you in an over-the-road truck with a sleeper. They are providing you with your place of sleep. It's your little home, bachelor pad, bachelorette pad, whatever you want to call it. When you're over the road, that is the lifestyle. And I hear it too often from people moaning, groaning, and bitching. Why don't we get paid for this? Why don't they should pay us for this? You know what? Come on. If that's your attitude towards it, then you need to get out of over the road. okay? Because you're never going to be happy thinking that you should be paid for every second that you're away from home. You don't get paid if you drive a local job. You do not get paid to drive from your house to your place of work. You do not get paid to drive from your place of work back to home. As a matter of fact, you don't even get paid for your lunch hours in most cases. Not all cases, but most cases, you get deducted a 30-minute or a 1-hour lunch break from your pay. In some cases also you get deducted for 2 15-minute breaks per day, even though they're mandatory. So really, let's use a little common sense and stop crying. This is the problem with the industry right here. And I don't mean to pick on you, but yeah, you really, I mean, come on, man. Let's use some common sense here. It is a lifestyle. This is not your average 9-to-5 job, and people need to stop thinking it is. Now, there was a particular article that somebody had posted, and I wanted to go to it. You know, these kind of things. Now, this is a meme, obviously, but obviously, you know, lack of training. Turning the corner, he pulled his trailer over a ditch, and, you know, boom, down it went. Now, I don't know what that particular one is about. Look at this. This is not a driver's issue, but yeah, we got all kinds of stories here. So if you guys aren't part of BRT, BigRigTalk Facebook page, make sure you join, please. Lots of fun stuff going on there. A load of potatoes spilt. There was a particular article, new bill. There we go. This is the one I wanted to talk to you guys about today, and I had forgotten about it. So, this is actually of interest to a lot of you guys on the road, because, I mean, the whole show, we don't want me just figuring out how to use my thingy here. So we'll put this towards the end of the show here, and then I'll go back to the comments and take a look. New bill to delay ELD enforcement reform, hours of service, and ELD regulations. So let's see what this is all about. Yesterday, 2 lawmakers introduced new legislation that would put the brakes on electronic logging device. So they've only introduced it. ELD enforcement, while reforms are made to both hours of service regulations and ELD regulations, particularly for agricultural haulers. Yes, I think they jumped the gun with putting this out. They didn't actually go through the hours of service so that they would work together. Not a surprise there that lawmakers would not do their jobs properly. The Modernizing Agriculture Transportation Act was in, and it shouldn't just be for agriculture. They got to do the whole damn thing. Act was introduced June 12th by Senators R&D and Michael Bennet, whatever, and would require the U.S. Department of Transportation to reform hours of service and ELD regulations, according to a news release from the office of Senator Hoven, if I'm saying his name right. The bill would also prevent the enforcement of ELD regulations until the reforms required under the bill are formally proposed to the U.S. Secretary of Transportation. Again, a bunch of lawmakers, people that have never driven a truck and never leave their offices, have no idea what it's like to be out on the road, that are making our laws. Gotta love that, eh, guys? The release, although I got to give these guys credit if they're trying to put a stop to it to get, you know, so that the laws are re-looked at properly. Specifically, the Hoven-Bennett bill would establish a working group at DOT to identify obstacles. Okay, so I'm just, the impact, they're not actually saying what they want to change here. Safety, other related issues. Now, within 120 days of receiving the working group's report. Okay, so in a nutshell, they're trying to slow down the implementation of the ELDs and have the hours of service reformed and reworked so that things will maybe work better for you guys. So this is really not what I was thinking. I was hoping they would actually list stuff that they wanted to change and maybe get some input. Let's go back here. Did I even transition that? I don't know. Let's go look at some comments here. Let's put this back to this, and like so, and there we go. We'll transition it so we have a better background. Let's go back here. Again, I didn't want to pick on anyone in particular. Put your trainer telephone. Okay, one reason I'm going local. But, of course, obviously, unpaid waiting time. American Freedom Logistics, probably already mentioned, but I think it's ludicrous that drivers can be trainers. Only 2 or 3 weeks out of their own training. Yes, there should be a minimum. We'll address this particular comment. There should be a minimum of 5 years driving experience before someone becomes a trainer. The problem is trainers really don't make a lot of good money for what they do, and 9 times out of 10, they're not really trainers. They're just glorified teams, or teams in training, if you will, is what a lot of companies do. Is so you're not really training, you're just putting somebody that has a little bit more experience than you in the truck with you, and they're basically going to make you run team, which is not training. It's absolute BS. Should be against the law. If you're going to have a training program, a trainer needs to be in the passenger seat at all times, and never, ever, ever in the bunk sleeping while the trainee is driving. This is absolutely nuts. I know when I started, training was not there. It was, luckily I had a lot of local experience prior to going out on the road. So as far as driving went, that wasn't an issue. It was just the distance, getting used to where I was going and whatnot. That part, you're always going to be on new roads. You're always going to see new places. As you get older and you've been doing it longer, yes, there's a lot of repetitiveness to the places you go, so you get used to those places. However, you're always going to be put into new situations, whether you're experienced or not experienced. Common sense is a huge lack in hiring these days. And yeah, but anyway, yeah, so training, if they're going to have a training program, they need to have proper training programs. This is something the lawmakers need to mandate. Never mind this, let's just keep tacking on to the rules. How about mandating something really important like training programs and the minimum requirements? Minimum requirements being a trainer should have no less than 5 years experience over the road. Local trainers, obviously, within the city. No less than 5 years training. Might be a little much for somebody local. So somebody with at least 2 years local experience can only train someone locally. Obviously, you're only going to be out during the day. Training period is going to be maybe only a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks at best, for bringing a new guy out on the road and someone driving with them all day long for a week or two. Because these local companies, hourly companies, are not going to pay for 2 driver salaries for 2-3 weeks in the truck. They want to get the training over with as quick as possible. But as far as over the road goes, yeah, if you're going to have a trainer with you, I don't agree that 6 months. 6 months is too long. You don't need a trainer with you for 6 months. However, if you're going to do a training program, depending on where you run, your company, if your company never runs out west, then it's not a big deal. But if you're a company that runs basically C to C and, all 48, then your training program, depending on the driver, should actually take that driver across the mountains a few times. Let them see what the mountains are like. Have the trainer show them how to drive in the mountains. It's a totally different ball game when you're out in the mountains and the way you drive. The problem is all these new drivers, they don't know how to drive. They go out there driving like they're driving in the Nebraska flats, or in Iowa, on flat ground. And then they get into trouble. They wonder why their brakes burn up. They crash. They use the truck lanes, whatever. Anyway, so it's nasty. The training situation, I could go on for hours on that one. It's ridiculous. These companies, the way they do it, Celadon, and I hate to bash on Celadon a bit here, but they here in Canada, they asked me to do training, and I said, there's no way in that you're going to get me to do training, because your training program sucks. And they kind of looked at me funny, and I told them exactly how I felt. I told them what it was missing, and that this team, after 2 weeks, they wanted team driving, and I'm like, that's just unacceptable to me. So now I'm going to read Christians here. You should have a choice if you want ELD or not in your truck. No, that's the days of past, okay? Christian, that's not a new thing. You've had the choice of ELDs or not, or to run paper logs. The problem is the guys with paper logs and the companies, not as necessarily as much as the guys, although it is the drivers, you guys did this to yourselves. All these big accidents, these rash of accidents, guys hitting bridges, guys going in the ditch for no reason, in perfect, there's just a huge rash of accidents. And no, we cannot all just blame Swift for everything, guys. It's everybody out there. There's just a ton of accidents going on, stupid accidents that should never happen. Guys that are running past their hours. Everyone on paper logs, the majority of 90% of people cheat. Okay, and I know some people say, oh, I never cheat. Bullshit. Everyone cheats 15, 20 minutes. I don't care if it's 5 minutes on your log. Well, paper logs is 15-minute increments. Okay, so cheating is cheating is cheating. I don't care. You can justify it out the wazoo, but cheating is cheating, plain and simple. Okay, and too many people were getting caught at it. So if you're going to cheat, you got to be good at it, and if you're not good at it, then don't cheat, because you're not going to get away with it. And too many people were cheating and getting caught. And this is the reason that ELDs are being mandated. It's not because some dick in the government says, hey, here's something that can just screw with people, let's mandate it. No, it's because people on paper logs fucked it up. Plain and simple. Yes, that's right. I dropped an F-bomb. They fucked it up. Plain and simple. People on ELDs are not the ones that screwed it up. I was on ELDs for many years, and I had no problem making money. I had no problem making miles. Okay, it's about time management. ELD forces you to do better time management, and if you're no good at time management, and your company, you can blame your company all you want. It really comes down to the driver. But yeah, so you guys out there, your companies, I mean, a lot of you guys are company drivers, so you have, you didn't have a say in it. So your companies are the ones that screwed it up. Plain and simple. And the drivers, by cheating. I mean, if you fudge your book by 15 minutes, 30 minutes here, just so you could have gotten that extra exit, or to get to that truck stop, or get to the delivery, whatever, you had to backtrack your hours, speed log, whatever. Fudging is fudging, cheating is cheating. I don't care who you are. I did it. Everyone's done it. Okay, when I was on paper logs, I fudged my book all the time. There isn't anyone that doesn't. You're always cutting corners here and there. Whether, like I said, be 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or by several hours for a lot of people. And again, a lot of people were getting into trouble. We're getting into really stupid accidents. I mean, just look at the rash of truck stop accidents. People pulling out of parking spots and running over hoods. I mean, how brain dead is this? So, I mean, there's absolute no common sense on that one. I've seen people doing it on driver's side window, where they could look out their window and see where their trailer is and still do it. So anyways, it's your investment, not the government. I spelled it wrong. What's this about investment? No. You're being told, again, okay, if this is the attitude you're going to have, this isn't the all about me, okay? The industry is over 3 million drivers out there. This is not just about you. It's about everybody and the people that you affect. It's a commercial industry. It's not a private industry. It's commercial. You're out in the public eye. So therefore, everything that gets done affects everybody. So people need to drop this "it's all about me" attitude. Okay? Oh, I got to spend some money. If you're an independent, you have one truck, and you're being forced to have ELDs, there are cheaper solutions. Okay? To get ELDs, you're not going to be spending $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 for a Qualcomm system. There are cheaper versions, tablets, that are legal and are approved by DOT to be used as ELDs, that can hook up remotely to your ECM with a little switch. I've even showcased it at the truck shows, that are at best $1,500, $1,000 that you can do it for. So anyone that brings up, oh, it's going to cost too much money, is full of shit. They haven't done their research. Plain and simple, I'll say it. I don't care. If you don't like my comment, you don't like my view, that's your problem. You have your view, I have my view. And if you're going to keep going on with this bad attitude, then you're just going to end up where you're going to end up. And that's not my problem. So, plain and simple. I made it work. If I can make it work, everyone can make it work. There is no reason for anyone to not be able to make it work. Let's go moving on down the line. Simon says, what I think is said is that loads of companies don't have a CDL school anymore. No, they don't, because of many different factors, the cost and whatnot. But anyways, Venom Sting, howdy. Anita says, SG, if you are in doubt of your skills, then just don't accept the load. Yeah, that's pretty simple. But the problem with that, Anita, is a lot of people think, oh, if I don't accept the load, I'm going to get fired. Well, you remember this whole conversation where people are saying driver shortage? It's not as much driver shortage. The demand is up. And yeah, you can get a job. If you've got a clean record, if you've honored your record, if you've kept pride in yourself and your driving skill and what you can do, and not done all these stupid mistakes, you can get a job anywhere, as long as you've got that 1 year in. I mean, everyone's lowering their standards. I mean, Celadon has lowered their experience standards, I think, to like 6 months now. Or Hyman. I don't know what Celadon is, but I know Hyman. I read an advertisement that they had posted where you only need 6 months experience now as an experienced driver. Anyone less than that, like new drivers, they have their driving training program. I don't know that it's a CDL school. You get your license at the school and then they have their new driver training program. Don't quote me on that one. And then Celadon used to have the school. I don't know, haven't heard anything about that. Someone said something that they were closing their schools or whatever. I don't know anything about that. So yeah, there's a lot of companies, the trucking companies, that are closing their schools, I would say, and you're going to have to go to private to get it done. It's just, they're just trying to fill seats. I've seen fewer truck snaggles and more trucks parked on the on-off ramps. Well, that's pure bad time management. If you're parking on off ramps and on ramps, that means you're driving your time limit to the very last second with very poor planning. And I'll just give you an example. What I used to do is, yes, you're only allowed so many hours a day. Well, I would plan looking for my truck stop, my place to park, not at 10 hours and 59 minutes, okay? Because, what was it, 11 hours driving time? I'd plan my day so that at the 10-hour mark, I was at my first truck stop, 9.5, whatever. You can plan it out with a map. You can see the distance between truck stops. If there's one truck stop and the next truck stop's not for another, 100 miles away, well, why would you push it to the 10-hour and 59 minute to get to that truck stop only to find out it's full? Well, that's on you. If there's no rest areas, but if you got to stop at the 10-hour mark, you stop at the 10-hour mark. If you got to stop at the 9.5-hour mark, you stop at the 9.5-hour mark. You do your planning. But if you look and you find a truck stop at the 9.5 or 10-hour mark, and you get in there and there's no parking, well, then you still have that hour to find someplace else safe other than parking on the side of the highway on an on-ramp or off-ramp. Slowly the Walmarts are going away because of ignorant, disgusting drivers. And again, it's the drivers that are doing this to everyone. And it's not just one or two. There's a lot. And, I've been to many Walmarts and I've seen guys do it. And it absolutely amazes me how disgusting some drivers can be in throwing their trash on the ground, whether it be pee bottles or whatever. You know what? It's in a bottle. There's no garbage can there or a proper place to dispose of it. Just put it in your freaking toolbox and wait till you get to some place that is a proper place to dispose of it. Instead of just throwing your crap on the ground. SG, and if you feel it's not worth it anymore, then, you get out. That's the individual feeling. For me, I'm kind of in that same boat. I just really don't want to be out there anymore. I've lost the passion to be out in the truck, long haul, because of the shitty drivers that are out there. I don't want to be associated with that as far as being out there driving. I don't want to be out there driving, doing my job, doing my due care and diligence, only to be taken out by some wahoo who doesn't give a shit and doesn't know how to drive. And that's my biggest fear right there. Let's see what else we got. So I might have missed a few comments here. No, and I've never sugarcoated it. All the years I've been on YouTube, and that's why it's a love-hate relationship with a lot of people. A lot of people don't like me because I don't sugarcoat it. I'm going to tell you how it is, and I'll even tell you when I screw up. I'm no perfect, guru of trucking. Yes, we used to joke around that I'm the guru of trucking, but that was only because I was the only one that was trying to do positive videos in trucking at the time when I started. to help the new guys. But it became very apparent very quickly that the new guys don't want help for the most part. And I hate to say it, a lot of you new guys don't. You guys are so arrogant, thinking, well, I went and got my CDL. I know what I'm doing. I don't know how many times in truck stop parking lots I've gotten out to try to help someone, only to be told, I know what I'm doing. I don't need your help. Or, you know, they start cursing at you. What the fuck's your problem? Get the fuck away from me. I know what I'm doing. Things like that. You know, I've had those comments thrown at me. So it's the new guys that are the problem. Okay, you guys are so arrogant. You see it down the road every day. Here on the 401, here in Ottawa on the roads, the trucks are following, and it's the new guys. I'm sorry, I don't care if they're 1 or 2 years experience, 3 years experience. It's the newer generation, Generation X, whatever you want to call it. They're like literally feet off the bumper of the vehicle in front of them. This is not the way to drive a truck that weighs 80,000 pounds. So Janet Walter wants to say, can I comment? I just think the 401 is awful anymore. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. So much truck traffic as time goes on, and these en routes weren't built to handle expansion of the trucking industry. Well, the problem is a lot of these en routes were rebuilt. They're all new, the majority of them. So they built them to cater to the tourists, to the cars. You got to remember, the 401 is the only main highway that goes from east to western and west to east in Ontario. There is no other main route that will take you from one end of the province to the other. I mean, that just goes to show our government too. Look at Highway 17. It goes all the way up to the Winnipeg border. The Manitoba border. 2-lane. Who the hell does that? It's a 2-lane highway for a lot of the cases. I mean, you would have thought they would have built a 4-lane highway by now. You would have thought, but that's our wonderful Canadian government that, you know, can't figure that one out with all the truck traffic and stuff that's up there and the accidents that happen there. But the 401 is just nothing but a cluster. And you go down the 401 at any given moment, and the trucks are following each other super close. And every time you hear about a big wreck, there's a lot of wrecks out by Morrisburg, Prescott, Cobourg, and whatnot. All these areas, I don't know what it is about these areas, but they seem to attract the accidents. And it's not just one truck and several cars. It's several trucks and maybe 1 or 2 cars that have gotten tangled into it. But it's always 2, 3, 4, 5 trucks. Why? Because they're following too close. You know, and it's perfect proof. If you're involved in the accident with another truck, you were following that truck too close. Plain and simple. You should be able to stop. You got to travel at a safe distance. You know, what's a safe distance? Well, they say 6 following seconds. But there's nobody out there that follows at 6 seconds. Never. Never, ever, ever. You just don't see it. Maybe 5%, 10% of the trucks on the road will follow at that distance. The rest, no. They're going to kiss each other in a hurry. And you know why they're in a hurry? It's this cents per mile bullshit. We need to get rid of this archaic way of paying people and bring in, and you're going to get me started on this speed limiter thing. No, okay, we're going to get to that in a minute. But and I'm going to blow your theory that blaming it on speed limiters is the fault. No, it's not. It's the drivers. But anyway, yeah, we got to get rid of this archaic way of paying people and pay them salaries. That'll slow them down because they're not worried about how much money they're going to make at the end of the week. Because I'm just using a round number. If they're going to get paid $1,000, they're going to get paid $1,000, whether they do 100 miles or they do 1,000 miles. You know, and I'm just using those numbers as examples. Okay, so that's one of the big problems is the way drivers are being paid. Okay. So they're always pushing because they need more miles to get a better paycheck. All right, so back to this speed limiter thing. So now SG wants to try to blame, and I'm thinking that's what he's doing by typing in speed limiters. Let's blame the speed limiters. No. Ontario and Quebec have mandated speed limiters for years now. It's not something new. It's been here forever. The problem is drivers, again, they've mandated me to 105 kilometers an hour, which is 62 miles an hour, right? I believe. Yeah, it's just over 62 miles an hour, 63 miles an hour, maybe 65. I don't know. But anyway, in that neighborhood. So we'll say 62 miles an hour. It's actually 100 kilometers an hour, 62 miles an hour. So I guess it would be 65 for you Americans that don't know the kilometers. Anyway, so in Ontario, Quebec, 105 kilometers an hour from any truck that's from Ontario, Quebec. Any truck coming to Ontario, Quebec is supposed to be under speed limiters, but there's a lot that aren't. So the mandated speed limit for trucks is 105. Even though it's not posted anywhere, there's lots of signs that say truck limiters required for Ontario, Quebec. They're 105. What happens is all these drivers drive at 105. They put their foot to the floor and they give themselves no room for correction. So if you, I'm just going to give you an example. And now somebody's calling me. Really? Who? Tiny, you're an idiot. Anyway, he always does this when I'm streaming. So, what was I saying? Okay, yeah. So everyone pins it at 105. I mean, okay. So the thing is, if you have a steer tire blowout at 105 kilometers an hour, the rule of thumb, anyone that has any kind of common sense or training and knows anything about driving trucks, big vehicles, or any vehicle, when you have a front tire blowout, what is the one thing you're supposed to do? Really? You're supposed to give it gas. You're supposed to accelerate a little bit so that you can pull yourself out of the direction that the truck is going to steer when that tire blows. You see all kinds of videos. People have a blowout. They hit the brake and the truck or vehicle goes left or right depending on which tire has blown. You need to give it throttle. But if you're doing your maximum throttle already, there is no place for you to go, which means there's going to be problems. You might get lucky and they're not going to be. You can hold it. It'll be fine. But in a lot of cases, there could be severe problems. Now, here's the other problem. You want to pass somebody. You're catching up to somebody that's doing 104 kilometers an hour. And you're doing 105, so you're creeping up on them. Well, you don't want to get stuck behind them. So now what do? You pull out into the passing lane. Now it's going to take you 10, 20, 30 kilometers just to get past this guy. Why? Because you're only doing 1 kilometer an hour faster. So here's the problem. Or here's the solution. Instead of driving your maximum speed, how about you drive 100 kilometers an hour? Which is the posted speed limit, by the way. 62 miles an hour, 100 kilometers an hour is the posted speed limit. Irregardless of how much of a hurry you're in or whatever, you know what? Do the speed limit. Do 100 kilometers an hour. Why? You'll have that extra 5 kilometers an hour. It doesn't sound like much, but it is enough to make a difference. Now, if you catch up to somebody that is doing 99 kilometers an hour or doing the 100, but for whatever reason, he's a heavy load, slows down on the hills a little bit, because a little bit of an uphill climb, so he's going to slow down because of his weight or whatever. You're a light load, you're doing the same speed as him, but you're catching up to him on every hill because he slows down and you don't. Guess what? You can now put your turn signal on, get in that passing lane, put your foot down on the floor, get that extra 5 kilometers an hour, and you're going to be by him within a kilometer or two and not be hanging out in that passing lane for the next 30 minutes, building up traffic behind you, and you can get back over and past him, hit that resume button on your cruise, and away you go. This is the way I drove, and I never had an issue. Also, with driving at 100 kilometers an hour, you're doing a speed that is good enough that the morons who like to keep it pegged at 105 will just go by you. They're not going to be hanging beside you. And that was one thing I used to hate. If somebody pull out and try to get by me and they would do the same speed as me, I would let go of the gas and let them by, because that is the worst place to have another truck, is beside you should something happen. Whether it be a car that loses control in front of you, that truck has a steer tire blowout and all of a sudden jerks and swerves right into you. Just the lack of common sense is amazing. It is so simple, but too many people don't know how to use common sense, and it's sad. But anyway, so your speed limiter thing, blown out the window. Sorry, can't use that excuse. Not allowed. Agreed. I'll follow way too close. They definitely follow too close. Pay per hour, I'll sleep under a tree. Exactly. Pay by hour would solve a lot of problems. Not even hourly, just salary. Give yourself they should give performance-based bonuses. So, anything under 2,000 miles for the week, you get paid a base salary. So it doesn't matter whether you do 100 or 2,000. The second you go over the 2,000 or whatever, then you start to increase your pay or whatever. So you get a minimum required pay or something. That would be good too. You use kilometers for distances and speed. You use Celsius for temperatures, but you use pounds for weights. No, we actually use kilograms. The problem is because I ran, we've never used pounds. That's just, you have the option of pounds because of a lot of the US drivers that do come up. And I used to use pounds just because I was able to make the conversion quicker, because I've been in it long enough that originally we used pounds because I was in the States so much. So it was just easier for me to make the conversion from pounds to kilos. But yeah, no, here in Canada we use kilos. We don't, everything is done in kilos. Like when you pull into a weigh station, it's kilos. When you go on the scale, cat scale, they ask you, do you want pounds or kilos? So no, our major measurement or type of measurement is kilos, not pounds. The one place that confuses me is like the UK. Over the UK, it's miles per hour and done in pounds there. Or no, miles per hour is their speed limit, and I think everything else is uh, like Celsius. They do it in Celsius and in kilos also for the weight, but their speed limit's in miles per hour. That one I don't get. In the unlikely event of steer blowout, pass on downhills. Yeah, that doesn't work either, because now you've maxed out, you have no throttle. If you're trying to pass on a downhill, you've already maxed out and you're going downhill, you're on coast, and that's even worse. So, sorry SG, I'm going to blow that one out the water too, because that is actually a really huge mistake when driving. But again, it's lack of training. A lot of people don't know this stuff, and it's because they don't have the training for it. So, but anyway, guys. So anyways, I hope you guys like the way I'm trying to get this layout going so that people are watching in full screen can see the chat. It's up there. I also have the ability to show you stuff on my computer screen for when stories come up. We definitely ran on today, 51 minutes and 59 seconds. But of course, the first, 10 minutes was me just babbling about nothing. And then the next 20 minutes was me trying to figure this crap out, which I should have done earlier. But I kind of like this Canadian themed layout here, and because I am from Canada. Hopefully you guys like this kind of style of the way we're going to do it. Again, I'll be able to... I'm going to try to set up the window so I can keep my webcam there, just get rid of the chat, and then bring up the story kind of in that corner over to the right here where the chat is. So I'll make that the box where the I can put in the screenshot of my desktop or whatever. So if I want to show you a story or pictures or whatever, anything like that. You guys can chime in also. Shoot me a message of what you'd like to talk about. I know I was supposed to be putting that stuff on Facebook for you guys to chime in on, and I haven't. I'll try to do something this week. But the thing is, I got to think of the topic and then put it up and see what you think. But I think what I'll do is I'll put a post up, I'll pin it, and I'll make it a suggestions for next week's show, and you guys can throw in suggestions, and I'll look at them, and then somewhere in the middle of the week I'll see which ones I like, and then we'll put up a poll, and you guys can vote on it as to what we talk about. But as far as the style goes, I think I'm going to stick with this theme. I really do like it. I might actually bring this theme into my gaming channel. I still got to fix some of my widgets here. SG says, am I retired? I am semi-retarded. Oh, sorry, retired. But not really, okay? It's all, a lot of it's because of my health, and I'm trying to get myself back into better health. Right now, the reason I'm working part-time, and I doubt I'm ever going to go over the road again, but then again, you never say never, right? It may be something more regional if I do. But chances are it'll be local when I do go back to trucking, if I go back. Right now, I'm doing part-time. No, I'm still online. Duffy, as far as I know. I mean, I can see myself. I've got the stream running to my left here in my other computer monitor, so it's running. I don't know why it would be showing me as offline. But anyway, what the hell was I saying? Oh yeah, so I'm driving the bus because right now I'm trying to get into the weight management program. Well, I'm in the weight management program, but it's a very lengthy, slow process as far as gastric bypass surgery goes. I really have a hard time losing weight, and so I'm trying to get into that to see what's the best solution. I have an appointment this coming Thursday to see the nurse practitioner in regards to the program, and we're going to see what she says. I don't know if it's going to be suggestions as to what I should be doing, or they're going to make a recommendation, or what it is. I have no idea. I've done all the other preliminary steps, so now I'm going to this. So I'll update you guys next weekend in regards to what that appointment was about. And that's one of the reasons I'm staying part-time close to home so that I can hit all these appointments without missing them. Because with this particular thing, if you miss an appointment, it'll be 6 months before you get another one. And that's just way too long. So anyway, guys, so I hope you enjoyed. This is the new style. You can comment on it. The replay will hopefully be up soon. And yeah. What do we got here? Do you feel that trucking is still a good industry to get into later on in life? Yes and no. If you're getting into it for the money, if you're getting into it to travel and to see different parts of the country, yes, definitely. Due to the fact, if you're getting into it to just enjoy yourself, relax, and travel, and see stuff, you're not necessarily going to be able to play tourist completely. However, a lot of companies will be happy with the fact that if you're only happy with getting 2,000 miles or whatever, and getting places as a casual, then they're not worried that you're going to scream at them because you didn't get 3,000 miles that week, and you're going to have a lot more rest periods in between loads where you can, take a taxi and go into like Nashville, or go sightseeing, see things. I only say Nashville because that's the one city I've been laid over in a couple times and I never got downtown, which pisses me off. I've always wanted to get downtown Nashville, never got there. But like in Laredo, when I'm there, it never bothered me that I got laid over for a day or a day and a half or whatever, or had to do my resets there, because I got to go do grocery shopping, got to do all kinds of things, got to visit with people. It was great. So I was never in that kind of a hurry. So if you're getting into it later in life as a second career, third career, whatever, and you're doing it purely for the money, it might be the wrong thing. It's got to remember it's a lifestyle. Being out on the road, you're going to live in the truck. Okay, plain and simple. It's a small space. So, trucking is good. I'm kind of burnt out from it right now as far as over the road, and it's more because I'm disgusted with the new drivers and the way things are going. So anyway, guys, make sure you check in on Facebook. Again, I'll put a post up. We're going to get some suggestions from you guys, so hopefully next week's show will run a little bit more smoothly. I've now got the base of how I want to do this as far as it showing up on the screen. I kind of like this. I'm going to try to add to it during the week. I may do an impromptu show or a little live stream maybe towards the middle of the week, something, so you guys can pop in or keep an eye out then. I'm going to try to get this new follower thing working properly, and I'll get everything up also because of sponsors and whatnot, and we'll get into why later on. And yeah, and get you guys, hopefully you can support the channel, whether it just be by watching on a consistent basis and participating. I'm doing this kind of style because I want the participation. I want the look to be there, that people are going to engage into the show here, and not just be about showing a big picture of my ugly face up here. So this is going to improve. I know it's just been kind of blasé to start here, but we're getting back into it. And yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you guys have an awesome week. Keep the shiny side up. And don't forget to hit that, I got to remember the camera's right here. And don't forget to hit that thumbs up like button. I would appreciate that. That definitely helps the channel out. And is great support for us. So hit that thumbs up button. If you didn't like the show and you didn't like the fact that I was straightforward with you, well, that's fine too. You can hit that thumbs down button if you didn't like it. I'm not going to tell you got to hit the thumbs up button just because. But hey, I would appreciate a thumbs up. Okay? So anyways, catch you guys on the flip side.